Okay, so in this video, I'm going to be showing you how I created my version of Koi, which is written by Kitaro. He's been performing it for decades. But in this video, I'm explaining LogicPro, which is a program I've had since version 7, 8, 9, 10, and there's all these different versions of 10. Okay, the song fades in here with something called pigments. And it's just a sound of some birds coming in. There's also violins and timpani you can hear in the background. The arpeggiation sound is the mono poly synthesizer, which I was going to pull that up and show you. The interface is really cool. The song starts here with a sound called Kitaro Shikai. I have different versions of that sound. Some are a little choppier than others, some are smooth, some are more aggressive. This one's a little aggressive. Just showing here, I'm isolating that track and turning the volume up and down. So here's the step editor, piano roll editor. You can actually just click on the notes and change volumes or move the notes around. Very easy to edit things. I just showed here I moved the note down where it's not supposed to be, and then moved it back up. But each step you do, you can lengthen notes, you can shorten them, move them around, copy paste notes. Here's the harp setting. Now these sounds I'm using in this LogicPro is mostly out of the library. That's if you look in the upper left corner, right below the red dot, there's a I don't have the arrow pointing up there, but next to that is the library of all these sounds. Right now I'm just selecting all these harp notes and show you that while you're playing it, you can actually go into edit mode, the step editor. Yeah, so this is the violin. It's really the only one I could find that kind of matched the original, but out of my library, it's one, ironically, that I created years ago in a program called Polyphontics, where you can take samples and throw it into this program, and it'll create an ESX file, which is a sampler file. It's called LP because it's the London Philharmonic Orchestra. The samples I got from their website, and I created a software font. Okay, I'm just showing here this pan flute, which comes with Logic. It's part of the orchestral library. Or actually, I think it's in the world category down in like South America sounds. So I was just brightening it up with the EQ. That EQ, you can, increase the highs, the lows. It's kind of a drag EQ. You can just drag what you want. You don't have to go in and manually move sliders anymore. Here's the oboe. Oboe's very prominent in this song. It starts off with that Shikai sound, but then it segues into this oboe. Here's the bass, pizzicato bass, which is part of the Logic library. It's just plucked bass, orchestral. So here's the notes. This using the piano roll or editor to just select to show you. So here, this little bit right here, that string roll was actually pretty hard to pull off, just make it sound like the original Kitaro version. So what I did was, you'll notice the file is blue because that's an actual audio file. It's not a software instrument. You can see the audio signature there. I'm replaying this to show what I had to do was I had to play the notes really slowly and then bounce that and then take that and speed it up and then import that back in to this project. Crazy, I know, but that's how I got it. I just could not play those notes that quickly, physically, at least when I did it. some of the notes didn't come out. I was able to do it slowly and then speed it up, basically, is why it's an audio file. I was just showing the horns there. There's 3 sections of horns. Brass ensemble. So the choir, that's built into Logic. Kitaro uses a lot of choir sounds, and pretty much all his music has voices and choirs and stuff. The timpani there is pretty prominent. Timpani is one of my favorite orchestral sounds. Here's the pigments at the end, so it's the same bird sounds at the end. The bells you hear, I just got that off the internet. There was just a church bell video on YouTube. I have a program called Videotronics. Oh, what is it called? Videotronics? Is that what it's called? Video Converter. It's by Wondershare, but you just drag any file into it. And it, converts movies into just audio or audios into different formats, MP3, AIF. Pretty much everything I do in Logic, I just keep it as an AIF because I'm on Mac based. So I'm starting the song over to show some other points here, but these are all the tracks. Yeah, it's like 26 tracks. Just messing with the EQ again. Channel EQ is pretty cool. Yeah, those sleigh bells are starting to bug me, so I muted it. Probably could have actually lowered the volume of that in the mix too. So here I'm just showing the final output. The channel strip on the right is the output of everything, and you can actually not only add effects to each track, but you can add effects to the entire output. So I was just messing with some effects there to show how that could be manipulated. Pretty much anything you want to manipulate in Logic is possible. Anything. I mean, I can't even imagine something that's not. And one thing I didn't show in this video tutorial, not really tutorial, but how I did it video. One thing I didn't show was the flex pitch, which is a new thing Logic's doing, which is just amazing. But it's really more for vocals. Like if you're singing, it's like auto-tune in the sense that you can, if you didn't hit a note, you can just stretch the note a little bit. Here I'm just showing timpani, and I changed the volume. In the piano roll editor, you can just double click on any note. You can double click on, you can select 10 notes and double click on it and change the overall volume up or down easily. You can change other things too. That's the splash cymbals, part of the orchestral drum kit. These are some bells and stuff. So that's the part where it segues. Well, here we go. I added gong and some other cymbals. That da 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 da. That part actually is the Shikai and a bell called Tom's Bell. Here I'm just showing how I got the audio to record with the video, something called Audio Hijack. Well, anyway, that's pretty much how I did the song, and it's how I do all my songs.